Om Akhandam Satchidanandam Avang Manasagocharam Atmanam Akhiladharam Ashraye Bhikta Siddhaye. We are studying here Sadananda Eti's Vedanta Sar, and last time we studied up to sentence 208, and the context was after the Adhyaropapad, we were told that by this the meaning of Tat and Tvam become pure in our consciousness, and automatically it leads to the identity Tattvamasi. And we are also told that this Tattvamasi reveals the identity by three different relations: Samanadikaranya, Visheshana Visheshya, and Laksha Lakshana. And the mistakes occurring in those relations also were described, and the right relations were also described. After that, we were told that this leads to the experience Aham Brahmasmi, which is a wave in the mind. And this wave is different from the worldly waves, where I am the subject and some object of the world is the object, because that will always remain so. While this, I am the subject, but Brahman is the object which is not an object in itself. So my object is reflection of Brahman in my peaceful, tranquil mind, and I am finally a realization takes place that this I, the perceiver, and the reflection which is perceived are both in reality Brahman itself. And then a flash comes and this goes away, and Sadananda described it as seeing in a mirror and then removing the mirror. When this happens in a flash, then the realization takes place. Then we were told that though this is the standard process, but for general public, it is expected that they undergo Shravan Manan Nididhasan and also the practice of Samadhi through what Patanjali describes as Yama Niyama Asana Pranayama Pratyar Dharana Dhyan Samadhi. And there we also saw that Shravana is the chief cause of our experience. But the Shravana makes us do thinking, we revise our thinking, and then Shravana forces us to go deep in our consciousness where the lurking sanskaras of bhoga are removed. And so either directly through Shravan or through meditation, Nididhasan, we realize the truth. And when the truth is realized, it is the not like deep sleep. The samadhi is not like deep sleep. All these we were told. And then we were told that the definitions, though the 8 steps used by Patanjali are quoted, yet the definition from Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahar were same, but the definitions of Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi were totally different in Sadananda. And I referred also that when you read Shankaracharya's Aparukshanubhuti, there we shall see that the definition of everything is according to Advaita. And there Shankara has said that those whose minds are pure will realize it through this, and that he calls as Raja Yoga. The method of Vedanta he calls as Raja Yoga. And Patanjali he refers to as Hatha Yoga because the function of will is there. And he says those who are little impure, they take recourse to Patanjali Yoga also. He does not name Patanjali, he says Hatha Yoga. That was in Aparukshanubhuti. Now, the Samadhi described by Patanjali is Savikalpa only. That is what we read in this 278. Now, the process from Savikalpa to Nirvikalpa requires to be described in greater details. That he takes up now. 209. Evam asya angino nirvikalpakasya laya vikshepa kashaya rasaswada lakshana chatvaro vignaha sambhavanti. Evam asya angino. We have said that anger are not parts, anger are steps. Angino means the goal of which they are the steps. Asya angino. The process has been described, but these are the steps for the final realization. And that is Nirvikalpa Samadhi, where I am not separate and experiencer and experience are not separate, but the experience is there. Now, from here to there or anywhere during the sadhana, we have four obstructions. Laya, Vikshepa, Kashaya, Rasa, Swada, Lakshana. These are their characteristics that Laya. He will explain it, but the very name Laya tells us that at some point the vritti goes to sleep. Like our deep sleep, something happens. And the yoga scriptures sometimes praise that, yoga laya. But yoga laya is not final nirvikalpa samadhi. And that is an obstruction. Gaudapada has explained it best, and Sadananda has taken it directly from Gaudapada here. So, laya means the vritti may be tired. I will tell you something from the beginning. What happens? Let me tell you some funny incident in regard to that. Very real. I will tell about my classes in Chandigarh. There was an old man, retired engineer. He was very regular in class. And sitting in the class, he used to snore. And people used to tell me that he snores. I could also see that. And after the class, he would request me for the cassette. He would say, I will listen properly in my house. Now, what happened? In this world, the life is full of tensions. The life is full of opposite forces acting upon us from all directions. Either we do not get good sleep, or in spite of the sleep, we do not get rest for the mind. Now, the forces in this world, like magnetic forces from all sides. If you go this side, this pull. If you go this side, this pull. We are never free from tensions. What is the upaya? Suppose this is a magnetic field. Suppose we go up, then the forces will become weak. And what happens will there? We will get real relaxation. You know, that is why in this yoga, people practice yoga for relaxation. So the mind, when it goes higher, maybe very little higher in consciousness, then the real rest comes. And that is what used to happen in the class. And so used to go to deep sleep, used to snore. So now take this example. And we are proceeding. And at some point, this happens. At some point, the mind goes to sleep. And that is an obstruction from further progress. The next obstruction is the usual mind get digressed. Because such a one-pointedness has to come in the mind. Even I and the Brahman, 2 points will also not be there. So, and we are not habituated to that. So mind tries to slip out and go to some object. That is called vikshepa. As soon as this word vikshepa comes, anyway, I remember something else, that people in many so-called orthodox sampradayas, They do not admit of karma as an help towards this. And they say karma is vikshepa. Anyway, I'm not going to that in detail, but karma will be helpful. Anyway, so now vikshepa, digression, that is the second obstruction. Then kashaya, that is the mind stops. Stops not like nirvikal samadhi, the wave is very much there. It is neither laya nor vikshepa, but stops. Why? Some deeper attachment is working and we do not know what it is. So that a pullback, we are trying to proceed and it has a pullback and that makes it stop. That is called kashaya, some impurity. And suppose these are not there, there also from the beginning, as soon as meditation succeeds a little, we get joy. Inevitable. Inevitable. But if we go to enjoy that joy, the meditation breaks. Everybody has this experience. The moment we feel meditation is successful, it breaks because the joy is there and we are going to enjoy it. Now, Savikalpa Samadhi is the greatest joy available in this world. Deep sleep is another we have seen, but it is much more than deep sleep. Because in deep sleep, the world is absent, but here Brahman is present. And I am looking at Brahman, maybe reflection, but that is the bliss in nature. And so, a very high type of joy comes. This has been described in Taittiriya as Anandamaya Kosha. Due to our union with Brahman, great joy comes. And then it stops. It wants to enjoy that mind. And so that is an obstruction. Sadananda will describe two types of obstruction due to joy. We shall come to that. So Sadananda says these four are the obstructions, particularly between Savikalpa and Nirvikalpa. Some bhavanti are possible. Somebody's vairagya is so strong that it straight away proceeds without this obstruction. That also is possible, but he must warn us. This is a practical, Vedanta is a practical science. His aim is to make us realize, he has already told, the subject matter of Vedanta is the realization of the identity between Jiva and Brahman. It has neither the name Jiva nor Brahman, only pure consciousness. So, now he explains one by one. Layas tavad akhanda vastu anavalambanena chitta vrutter nidra. It is not able to catch the akhanda vastu. The unbroken experience, the vritti is unable to catch. And so it goes into sleep. So that is the layer. Solution he will give together. Solution is that we have to wake it up. We are not to allow it to sleep. The moment we realize we are sleeping, we have to get up. Vikshepa, akhanda vastu, anavalambanena, chitta vrutter, anyavalambanam vikshepa. There also, instead of making the akhanda vastu as the object of that wave, it goes to some object of the world. And that is called digression. There what we have to do? We have to call it back and go towards Brahman. Laya vikshepa abhave api chitta vrutter ragadi vasanaya sabdi bhavat akhanda vastu anuvalambanam kashaya. The previous two he had told, unable to reach the akhanda vastu, laya or vikshep takes place. Now he tells it is because of this akhanda vastu is unavailable. There is no laya and there is no vikshepa. But chitta vrittir ragadi vasanaya, the impression of attachment or repulsion or something, ragadi vasanaya, impression. So the sanskar of some old attachment or something is there, and it is very deep in our consciousness. Vasanaya stabdi bhava, it is unable to proceed. The back pull becomes strong when we go deep, and so the procedure stops, and then we are unable to reach the Akhanda Vastu. Stabdi bhava, because of this Stabdi bhav, Akhanda Vastu Anarmanam, we are not able to catch the Akhanda Vastu, that is called Kashaya or the impurity. Akhanda Vastu Anavalambanena api Chitta Vrittehe Savikalpaka Ananda Swadanam Prasaswada Samadhi Aramba Samaye Savikalpaka Ananda Swadanam Va. Two types. One is that we forget to reach the Nirvikalpa. Due to the exuberance of joy, we think we have reached the goal. And in many Upanishads, in Kena Upanishad in particular, the Guru says, if you have reached this and you think you have realized, you have not yet fully realized, you think over it. So, this is a state due to exuberance of joy in Savikalpa Samadhi. We forget to that there is still one step to be taken, that itself goes away from our mind. Otherwise, we know we have to go, but unable to go due to joy. So, Rasaswada obstructs us in two ways. Either it makes us forget that we have to proceed, or that goal is there. We know we have to go, but unable to go due to the enjoyment of the joy. So, in two ways, he has described the Rasaswada. Samadhi Aramba Samaye, the Nirvikalpa is going to happen. But at that time, Savikalpaka Ananda Swadanam, we are still busy with enjoying the joy of the Savikalpa. So in these two ways, the Rasaswada is an obstruction. He has not the solutions he has given still in another, basing on Mandukya. Now here he says, Anena Vigna Chatushtayena Virahitam Chittam Nirvata Deepavat Achalam Sat Akhanda Chaitanya Matram Avatishtate Yada Tada Nirvikalpa Samadhiriti Uchate. When unobstructed by these four obstructions, the tranquil state of the mind, like the flame of a lamp kept in a windless place, that wave becomes Deepta. That wave becomes such one-pointed. The waveness is lost. And as I told you, a flash comes. So, Achalam Sat, Akhanda Chaitanya Matram Avatishtate. So there is, the wave is no more there. It is only the Akhanda Vastu. The experiencer experience also is lost. And we have only the Akhanda Vastu. When this happens, it is called Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So when these four obstructions are transcended, the wave reaches the goal, the wave stops because it has reached the goal, and the wave vanishes, and we get only the realization. That is the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Now, all this is based upon Gaudapada's description in the Mandukya Karikas. So now, he directly quotes from the Advaita Prakaran of the Mandukya Karikas. Yaduktam Laye Sambodhayet Chittam Vikshiptam Shamayet Punaha Sakashayam Vijaniyat Samapraptam Na Chalayet Naswadayet Rasam Tatra निस्संगः प्रज्ञया भवेत् इति च यथा दीपो निवातस्थो नेंगते सोपमा स्मृता इति च. That is from Gita. So Gautama tells us, if the laya happens, you wake up your mind. Laya, in case of laya, chittam sambodhayat, you wake up your mind. Vikshiptam shamayat puna, if it digresses, make it controlled again. Sakashayam vijaniyat, if due to some attachment or something it has stopped, find it out. Find it out what has stopped you. That is the only way. When you find it out, it cannot obstruct you. A funny story is told that a Brahmin was going to attend some conference. Now, in between, his slippers started binding him, his feet. And he saw a cobbler. So he told the cobbler, you carry my slippers and come with me. And he should not speak at all. People will not know what is your caste. It is a conference of Brahmins. But while sitting, something happens and this cobbler gives out. As soon as they know he is a cobbler, he has to run away. That is a funny example. As soon as you know, this is the cause of my obstruction, it cannot stand. One funny incident is told about this. Not funny, a real incident I am telling now, other than stories. And it is about Mahapurush Maharaj, Swami Shivananda, Sri Ramakrishna's disciple. He was sitting in Almora and his mind was about, he has experienced Nirvikala Samadhi in various places. But here, the mind was about to enter Nirvikala Samadhi. Now, one of his sisters had to undergo great tortures in her life. She became a widow and whatnot. And great torture she had to bear. And in previous life, he was close to her. Suddenly, that came in his mind. And for a moment, he thought, have I no duty towards her? And immediately from within, the knowledge came, this is called Maya. And it went away. He himself has described this. At the point when the mind was about to enter Nirvikala Samadhi, old sanskaras, old impression. He was attached to his sister in his young age, and he had seen that suffering, and he could not do anything at that time. So that impression woke up, and he thought, do I have not some duty towards her? And in a flash, the knowledge came, this is called Maya. And it went away and entered Nirvikala Samadhi. So these are the real incidents guiding us. Such things happen. Sakashayam vijaniyat. Only knowing what is the obstruction, they go away. Samapraptam na chalayat. One more point he has introduced. Now it is going to come to that steady state. At that time, one more obstruction is showing up. Which is not described by Sadananda, but in this quotation. Sometimes in the mind it comes, let me see here and there, then I will. This should not be allowed to happen. So, Samapraptam means when it is about to go into the Samatva, go into the Akhanda, it should not be allowed to waver. No chalayet. It should not be allowed to waver. And then he says, Naswadayet rasam tatra. There one should not taste the bliss or the source of bliss, whatever you call it. One should not enjoy. I told you repeatedly, perhaps, My Guruji could not bear the word enjoyment in any respect, because enjoyment means subject enjoying the object. You may feel joy, you may feel bliss. Why enjoy? So, here, in the highest place also, this should not be allowed. And why it happens? You know the famous saying of Sri Ramakrishna about the ordinary devotees. I want to taste the sugar, I don't want to become. But there we have seen during Vishesha Visheshan Bhava also, that if one understands that by merging, the joy does not get reduced, we become joy itself, then one goes forward. So, Rasaswada Nisangam Pradnaya Bhavet. Prajna means the inner knowledge, and that should make us unattached to that joy. We should not enjoy, we should use our inner knowledge to remove the attachment towards that enjoyment. That is what Gaudapad has declared. And Sanandait is using that shloka to remove all the obstructions. Then the final result is described in the Gita, Yatha Dipo Nivatasto Nengate. Now Ingate, that means slightest shaking also is not there. If the flame of the lamp is in a windless place. Sopama Smrita. This is the simile used for the mind. Iti cha. So simile used for the mind which has entered Nirvikal Samadhi is like the flame in a windless place, which does not shake at all. And there Gaudapad also says that when it does not shake, then that we will get the Brahman will be revealed there. So he has described every possible step, the obstructions, how to remove them, so that practically has made us reach the Nirvikal Samadhi. Now what happens after that is the next question. Man does not die immediately because the momentum is upon the body and the mind. So it goes on for some time, and that is called Jivan Mukta, free while living. And just 2 days back in Swamiji's Jnana Yoga, we are reading about this, that is the goal of Vedanta. That means not that after death I will get something. Here, while living, I know I am free. So, this Jivan Mukta now is being described in detail, beautifully well, with some purview which I will add. Atha means now. Jivan Mukta Lakshanam Uchyate. I will tell you the characteristics of a man who is free while living. Jivan Mukto Nama. Jivan Mukta is the name, literally, of that person, or Jivan Mukta means these characteristics. Swaswarupa Akhanda Brahma Jnanena. The knowledge of one's own real nature, which is same as the Akhanda Brahma. Tad Ajnana Badhana Dwara. So we are having some wrong knowledge up till now. That is being removed or obstruct. They check. Ajnana does not obstruct us any further. So Swarupa Akhanda Brahmani Sakshat Krute. And so we are directly realized the one's own real nature, which is Akhanda Brahma. Here why I repeat it twice? By this knowledge, the obstruction of ignorance is cut away, and so we get the knowledge. Sakshat Krute, having realized directly. Ajnana Tatkarya Sanchita Karma Samshaya Viparayadi Nam Api Bhaditatva. Now, the wrong knowledge is completely gone. Tat karya and the effects of wrong knowledge is our sanchita karma. The karma which you have done through ages and ages in past lives, that is all stored for taking effect later on. But when I is not there, when can the sanchita stand? So that is also removed. Then doubt goes away only in the final realization. Samshaya. Viparya, some mixture of doubt or wrong knowledge is there, that also goes away. All these are effects of wrong knowledge. So when the wrong knowledge vanishes, they all go away. Akila bandha rahito. There is no bondage for that man. Brahmanishtha. And always his consciousness or his mind is fixed in Brahman. That is the Jivan Mukta. And for this he has quoted from Mundak Upanishad, Vidyate Hridaya Granthi, Chidyante Sarva Samshaya, Shiyante Chasya Karmani, Tasmin Drishte Paravare. Paravare Drishte. Paravare Drishte means, yes, important thing. After Nirvikal Samadhi, that state is gone. Mind is never in a constant state. And what we call waking up, he has not from sleep, but from Nirvikal Samadhi, he is now perceiving the world. But what he perceives, Brahman as the all-pervading reality. So Parabrahma means Brahman is not two, but our realization is of two types. When the Akhanda Vritti has vanished, we have realized Brahman as the transcendent reality. And when we open the eyes, we see the same Brahman as the immanent reality. And that is called Apara Brahma. Tasmin Drishte Paravare. Very important statement. In the Gita also, Yada Bhuta, 13th chapter, Yada Bhuta Prithak Bhavam Ekatva Manupashyati Tata Evacha Vistaram Brahma Sampadhyate Tada. That man is called having achieved Brahman only when all the variety he sees vanished into one. And from the same one, he sees everything as manifested. Then only the full realization has taken place. That is what Mundaka tells us. Tasmin drishte paravare. What happens? Vidyate hridaya granthi. In the heart, there is a knot of ignorance, of wrong knowledge, of ego that is cut asunder. Chidyante sarva sanshaya. Let me talk a little more about this sanshaya in practical life. Most revered Swami Ranganathananji used to issue a small pamphlet for the initiated devotees. And from that, this passage was there. That lot of doubts may come when you become a sadhak. If you read standard books like Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda's works, etc., 50% of your doubts will vanish. But some doubts will pursue. And because you have not realized the truth, that is the only reason of that doubt. And as you proceed higher and higher, doubts will go on reducing. Many doubts will be resolved during your sadhana. And he mentions there that there will remain no doubt only when you realize Father. And so, Chidyante Sarva Samshaya, all the doubts are vanished. Now here again, it is not about the relative world. I have sent some messenger. I doubt whether he will reach or not. This doubt may be there in your mind. But the doubt about Brahman being real and the world being false, there nothing will remain. That is the Siddhante Sarvashamsha. All doubts regarding our own real nature will vanish. Shiyante chasya karmani. And the karmas have no momentum now, because I consciousness is the peg around which all the karmas are there. And that being gone, they all go away. This is beautifully described as passing away of the Brahmajna in Mundaka Upanishad. That karmas go with I consciousness into Brahman. So karmas are always associated with I am the doer. So if the I am the doer is gone, they are also gone. Tasmin drishte paravare. This happens in the condition when you have realized the Nirguna Saguna Brahman. Ityadi Shrute. Several passages of this type will be found. He has given the representative quotation from Mundaka Upanishad. Now, most important sentence comes, and we will suggest a little modification without contradicting Sadananda in any way. Now, Sadananda represents to us what we call the Jnanis or the Jnana Sampradaya. Though, as a broad-minded person believing in the reality, he has acknowledged the force of bhakti and karma and yoga during his Sambandha Trayana. But the description is always passive. Let me read. I am tu. Vyuthana samaye. That is called Vyuthana. When he is not in samadhi, that is called Vyuthana. Mansa shonita mutra purishadi bhajanena sharirena. If this body is being carried, then these are the functions of the body. Body is full of flesh and blood, and the dirty excreta, all these are there. Sharirena, along with this body, he lives. Andya, mandya, apatutvadi bhajanena, indriya gramena. No, his indriyas do not become perfect immediately. So, he may be blind. Mandya, his digestion may be weak. Apatutva, he will not be expert in the function of all the indriyas. Adi bhajanena indriya gramena. This is about the collective function of the indriyas. Andya mandya apatutva. Ashanaya pipasa shoka mohadi bhajanena antakaranena, the inner four organs. Actually, we feel hunger due to function of prana. But he says the innermost organ has this feeling of hunger and thirst, that also will remain. And shoka moha will remain. Shoka moha, in the ordinary sense, it will not affect him. Tatra ko moha kashoka we have seen. Let me quote examples here also. Supreme example. Sri Ramakrishna had a nephew called Akshay, who was a great sadhaka. And when he was a child, his mother had passed away. So Sri Ramakrishna had reared him up. And later on, he proved to be a great sadhaka. And this died suddenly. Sri Ramakrishna said, all were weeping. I danced out of joy because I saw that the sword has taken out of the sheath and the sheath has fallen down. Nothing has happened to the sword. But next day, when I was standing in that place, the sorrow, like my heart is being wrenched, that type of sorrow came. And I understood, oh, that is how the householders feel. So that is a shadow or a reflection of shoka. Similarly, some fascination may take place for a moment, but it goes away. So the Shoka Moha are the shadows of Shoka Moha. Adi Bhajanena Antakaranena cha Purva Vasanaya Kriyamanani Karmani. The impressions are there in the mind, and so the karmas are going on. Bhujyamanani is experiencing them. Jnana Aviruddha Arabdha Phalani. Most important is that they will not be opposite to knowledge. That means he will not go lower down. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha will not be there. So they will not be opposite to knowledge. Such sanskaras will express themselves. Pashyannapi, he experiences, yet Badhitatvat. In his inner consciousness, they are all not there. He knows this is Maya's function. They are affecting my body and mind. They are not affecting me. Paramarthato na pashyati. So he is always aware of the reality and is unaware of them. Unaware means he may perceive them, but he is not taking them as real at all. Yathendra jalamiti jnanavan tat indra jalam pashyannapi paramarthamidam iti na pashyati. He gives an example. Suppose we are attending a magic show and we know it is a magic show. So sometimes we are influenced, wonderful, wonderful, but we know it is a magic show. We are not taking them to be real. Sometimes the magician takes out notes and distributes among the audience, but that is only a hallucination. We don't go to that as real. So we see, but we are aware that it is not true. Okay? Here I may not add something, but I will tell here itself. This is a passive description of the man. This prarabdha itself, Shankar in the way Chulamani has told, the full jnani does not require even this prarabdha. If he wills, he can leave the body at that time. But why prarabdha is described? It is a passive description. When we look into the galaxy of, say, Sri Ramakrishna's disciples, any Brahmajna for the matter, later on, Sananda will tell us, if he is transcendent, he just sits somewhere and passes his days. But normally, they are the best instruments of God. Once we understand that Parabrahma is not only Nirgun but Sagun also, and it is the function of the Saguna Brahma. Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya is a function of the Saguna Brahma. And for the sake of this Sthiti, he comes down as incarnation. And his best instruments are the Brahmajnas. His best instruments are the Brahmajnas. And so, he takes out work from them to the last drop of their blood. So instead of this passive description, we understand they live the remaining of their life as instruments of God. They have lost their individuality totally. Anyway, we'll come to that sentence again in the next. Sachakshur, achakshuriva, sakarno, akarnaiva ityadi shrutehe. He has eyes, but he has transcended the eyes. He does not see things in a subject-object manner. He has ears, but he does not hear in the subject-object manner. That is the description, that the functions are there in the body, indriyas and the mind, but he is aware of their unreality. Uktancha, sushuptava jagrati yona pashyati, dvayam cha pashyannapi chadvayattatah. तथा च कुर्वन्नपि निष्क्रियश्चयः स आत्मवित् न अन्य इति है निश्चय. This from Shankaracharya's Upadesha Sahasri. Like in deep sleep, he is also in the waking state because he does not see anything real. Inevitable samadhi. Dvayam cha pashyannapi cha advaitata. He sees the duality, but his consciousness is Advaita. Similarly, he may appear doing some work, but he is not doing any work. He is the man of realization, nobody else. That is the Nishya. Asya jnanat purvam vidyamananam eva ahara viharadinam anuvrittivat shiva vasananam eva anuvrittir bhavati shiva shubhayor audasinyam va. Now, before he got knowledge, he had certain habits. And he does not wish to change them now, because all is same for him. Ahara vihara in relation to his food habits, in relation to his uh, other habits, anuvritti, they follow the old methods. Shiva vasananam eva, but they have to be good only. The evil things are lost much before. Good things may remain. Shiva Shivaya Raudasinam, or in some respects you find he is totally indifferent to Shiva or Shiva. He is transcendent. Taduktam, it has been said in Naishkarma Siddhi and Upadeshas. Buddha Dvaita Satatvasya Yatheshta Charanam Yadi Shunam Tattva Drisham Chaiva Ko Bhedo Ashuchi Bhakshane iti. When the Advaita reality has been realized, if he behaves as he wills, then what is the difference between a dog and a man of realization in eating filthy things? So, only the good things remain, that is the meaning here. Or is transcendent. Brahmavittam tatha muktva sa atmagyo na chetara iti cha. He has lost the ego that I am Brahman. I know Brahman, this ego is also not in him, that has also been transcended. He is the real Atmagya, not either. Now, what is his life? Tadanim amanitvadini jnana sadhanani adveshtutradaya sadgunascha alankaravat anuvartante. This is reference to Gita, 13th chapter and 12th chapter. 13th chapter, please refer to Shloka 7 to 11 of 13th chapter. Amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa, kyantirarjavam, acharyopasanam, shaucham, stairyam, atmavinigraha, indriyartheshu, vairagyam, anahankara evacha, janma mrityu jara vyadhi, dukkha doshanu darshanam, asakti ranabhishvanga, putra dara gruhadishu, nityam cha samachittatvam ishtanishtopavattishu, maichayannanya yogena bhaktir vavicharini, विविक्त देश सेवित्वम अरतिर जन संसदि अध्यात्म ज्ञान नित्यत्वम तत्व ज्ञानार्थ दर्शनम एतद् ज्ञानमिति प्रोक्तम अज्ञानम यदतो अन्यथा. Jnana means these moral virtues. That is what Bhagavan tells. Shankar tells they are the sahakari sadhan for getting knowledge, the constitution of the mind. Now, the sadhak attempts are that here Alankaravat anuvartante. Suppose a man has put some ornaments and is walking, the Alankara is also with him. So effortlessly, that is what is manifested in his life. In the end of the 12th chapter, Shloka 13 to 19, he has described the qualities of the Supreme Bhakta. Advaishta Sarvabhutana Maitra Karuna Evacha Nirmama Nirankara Samadukha Sugakshami. Please refer to these two places to understand what they are. from the 13th chapter 7 to 11, 12th chapter 13 to 19. And these also are the best qualities of man, and they are with him naturally like the Alankara. Taduktam. उत्पन्नात्मावबोधस्य हि अद्वैष्टात्रादयो गुणा ayatnato bhavantasya natu sadhana rupena iti. He does not have to practice them as sadhana. When the Atma Bodh has grown in him, these gunas ayatnato bhavati, effortlessly they are with him. Now comes that sentence which is most passive. Kim bhavana, what more to tell? I am deha yatra matarartham ichha. Deha matra yatra, deha yatra matrartham. Only for continuation of the body. Here I am telling, because they are being used as instruments by God. Passive description is that body is continuing. Active description is that they are instruments of God. Ichha, aniccha, parecha, parapitani. From outside we'll see he desires something. That is only God's desire. And sometimes without any desire also he is doing something. Sometimes he is following others' desire as if. Ichha, aniccha, parecha, parapitani, sukha, dukkha, lakshanani. Sukha, dukkha followed him outside. Arabdha phalani anubhavan. So that are the momentum of the past work that goes on in him. Antakarana abhasadinam avabhasaka san. No, all these are in the shadows in his antakaran. And he is the light behind those shadows. Because of his light, he sees that these are happening. Tad avasane, now the passing away of the Brahman is being told here. Tad avasane, they are also come to stop. Pratyagananda Parabrahmani Prane Line Sati. Where is Pranas gone? Pranas represent the I consciousness. Where have they gone? In the innermost reality which is Brahman. Tat karya sanskaranapi vinashat. So this I consciousness was the cause of impressions, and those also have been destroyed. Parama Kaivalyam Anandaika Rasam Akila Veda Pratibhasa Rahitam. Absolute Kaivalyam is one without a second. Ananda Eka Rasam, homogeneous, absolute bliss. Akila Veda Pratibhasa Rahitam. Even the shadow, appearance of the duality is not there. Akhanda Brahma Avatishtate. He now lives as the Akhanda Brahma. Body may be dropping, he is Akhanda Brahma and he lives. And this is described beautifully in Brihadaranyaka and Katha. Na tasya prana utkramanti atraiva samavaliyante vimuktasya vimuchyate ityadi shrutehe. A prana carry the subtle body along with the ego to some other body. His prana does not go anywhere. He has realized Brahman. So his pranas do not have to depart from the body. Atraiva samavaniyante. Here itself they get lost. Because the I consciousness is lost. Vimuktasya vimuchyate is already free. Now is free from the remaining body and the mind. So, with God's grace, we come to the end of Vedanta Sar. Now, thanking the university, I hand over to Atma Priyananji. He will make some announcements. Yes, please, Maharaj.
Maharaj, you're on mute, Maharaj. Still on mute, Maharaj.
So we are pronounced Swami Pitambaranji Maharaj. So revered Maharaj began with Narada Bhakti, began with Yoga Sutra, then went to Bhakti Sutras, Then many Prakarana Granthas of Shankara, including the famous Viveka Chudamani. Then we had Vakyavritti, Aparokshanubhuti, Atma Bodha. Now the Vedanta Sara, which gives the essence of the entire gamut of Vedanta. Now at our request, a little more advanced text. All of you know that Vedanta has Prasthana Traya. Shruti Prasthana, the Upanishad, Smriti Prasthana, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Nyaya Prasthana, which is called the Brahma Sutra, the Vedanta Sutra. And Bhagavan Bhashyakara Shankaracharya's commentary on the Vedanta Sutra is one of the most famous, and of which the first 4 sutras are still thoroughly studied because it's a very vast book. And the Upodghata Bhashya, which is the introduction of Shankara, is considered the crest jewel of Vedanta, Adhyasa Bhashya. So the Revered Maharaj has kindly agreed to go through this text, advanced text. And he has also translated the Chatussutri, the first 4 sutras with the Bhashya, in simple mellifluous Hindi, which we are sharing with you. We'll put it on the website. And please, you can download and use it also in a PDF file. And we will announce the series of lectures with the dates. Now, as you know, in Durga Puja is celebrated in a big way in Belur Math and in Bengal in general. So the Durga Puja Mahalaya, Devi Paksha begins. And Durga Puja will be Saptami, Ashtami, Navami, Dashami, 12, 13, 14 and 15 of October. And Lakshmi Puja is on 20th October. So 27th is on a Wednesday, same time, 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. We will begin a study of the Chatussutri, first 4 sutras of the Brahma Sutras, called Vedanta Sutras or Vyasa Sutras, with Shankara's commentary in original Sanskrit and with simple English explanation by Swami Pitambaranandaji, and his own mellifluous, simple Hindi translation available on the website you can download. So please do attend, share it with all your friends, and come one, come all to listen to the voice of Vedanta through the mouths of Swami Pitambaranandaji. He will be coming to Calcutta and staying here for a couple of months. So please do join these classes starting from 27th of October after the puja break on Vedanta Sutras or the Brahma Sutras, the first 4 sutras. Yes, Maharaj.
I don't know. This text, Chatusutri Shankar Bhashya text and Hindi translation. Now, those who know Hindi will use them as translation, but the others can use that as the text. Revered Swami Gambhiranji's English translation is the best, but it does not give the Sanskrit text. And I have tried to split the Sanskrit words and make it simpler. So this very thing is available with the university now, and people who do not know Hindi also can use it as the text. With this, I conclude.
So we will use the text as a
Yes.
Devanagari from his book.
Yes.
And those who know Hindi can use the Hindi translation.
Yes.
Those who are not comfortable with Hindi can use the original text available there with
Yes.
Swami Gambhiranji's translation.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So today we conclude.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanam.